Welcome to Unleashing Happiness with Cecilia Hendricks, the podcast where I teach you how to change your mindset, change your habits, and change your life. Happy Wednesday now. It feels a little different doing this on Wednesday, but I'm pretty excited to get this out. This is Unleashing Happiness with Cecilia Hendricks. The podcast that I've put together and what I've been sharing here is ways to really find more fulfillment in your life. There is so much importance in being able to really enjoy your life, have joy in the daily parts of your life, and also understand that if you don't and you're in a little bit of a negativity cycle, and this is taking out any type of maybe mental illness that you're dealing with or something that you're working through, like severe trauma, definitely. But if you are not working through those types of concerns and you're just finding yourself upset each day, you're focusing on what's not going right, and pretty much to you, everything is always going wrong, and you just don't have very much energy, your self-confidence is in the tank, you're always comparing yourself to others, you never get enough done during the day, the hours always run out before the to-do list is done, etc. My podcast and what I want to share is all the ways that you can naturally improve those things, that you can combine spirituality with science-based tools to really improve your life, to start to get more fulfillment, happiness, and joy out of each day that you're living. I found myself years ago where I was definitely happy. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't that I was in a depressive state or anything of that sort, but I just didn't feel like I had enough. I didn't feel like I was being fulfilled, and I was looking out towards the people in my life to provide that fulfillment. And I was doing this subconsciously, unconsciously. I wasn't aware that that's what I was doing. But anytime that I felt down, I was placing that blame on these external factors. Either my job's not going well, the people I work with don't treat me right, I'm not getting the support that I need out of my partner, or I'm not getting the support and the help that I want from my friends. It was always something, and I didn't do it with like realizing it, right? I didn't look out at these people and like point my finger at them. It was a underlying belief that I was continuing each day. And I got to the point where something very dramatic happened, and it kind of awakened something in me where I realized like, no, I can be myself. I can still be a good mother, even a great mother. I can be a much better spouse, and I can be a better friend to the people that are around me and nurture these relationships because I'm taking care of myself more. When I started to focus back on me, things around me actually got better. And I had learned some of the tools and had kind of been introduced to like the law of attraction community, law of assumption community, really became a follower mainly of Neville Goddard. That's probably my number one teacher that I have found has been the most beneficial to me and that I understand the most. And it definitely did not start that way at all. But I realized that by becoming a bit more selfish and starting to prioritize myself more, I had more to give out. And then the more that I started to figure this out, the better that I started to feel overall. The actual changes that I started to see in my life financially, the way that I looked, the, kind of way that I felt, just all these different things that started to fall into place for me. The more that I wanted to go and share this with others. And so I sat down and I thought about, okay, what are some of the easy, quick hits, get started things that I can share out with somebody that are simple steps to improve your life that literally you can do today. And I came up with a list of 10 things, and it is 10 relatively simple things that you could actually add to your life today that will give you improvement in your life. It'll mentally make you feel better, physically make you feel better, and also start to shift this identity that we talk a lot about here. So anything that you do, your daily habits, the routines that you fall into are all contributing to the identity that you have set for yourself. And so there are times then where maybe your identity now, like mine had become, was a little bit of maybe somebody who was like always tired, didn't have time to get stuff done. My house was kind of a mess. Like it was very disorganized areas of life. And I realized that, well, that was my identity. This was something that I had just accepted of myself. And if you're a follower of Neville Goddard, he talks about this as a state, right? So you're in this specific state, and there could be multiple of them, right? It can be like around health, wealth, the love life that you have, friendships that you have, the way you feel about yourself, the way you get things done in your day, your energy levels. There's so many, and there's so many that are sitting under the surface that you're maybe not aware of. And so the first thing to do is to, start becoming a bit more aware, start paying attention to the things that you're doing and the way that you talk about yourself and feel about yourself in different situations. Are you comparing yourself to others? Do you always kind of put yourself down that you're not getting enough done? You're not giving enough. You're not balancing things out correctly. There's always something left undone that still needs your attention. Well, I'm encouraging you to stop and realize that the first thing that needs your attention is you. You cannot give when you have nothing left to give. If you are constantly giving and never replenishing for you, never taking care of your mind, body, and soul, you don't have anything left to give out to all the other people in your life. That includes your spouse, it includes your friends, it includes your pets, it includes your children, your coworkers, your boss, all these people in the world that kind of rely on you. You don't have anything left to give. So being able to do simple things to feel better about yourself, fill your cup, really get into self-love will make you feel more confident. It'll give you more energy. And shockingly, the more that you do this, the more that you'll find you actually have more time in the day. I don't quite know how this works, but I have experienced it myself and I've experienced in others. The more that you turn internally, start to kind of shift yourself and the way you feel about you and your life, but starting with you, the better. It's like a ripple effect that just goes out from you and starts touching all the areas of your life. And so, like I said earlier, I put together a list of 10 ways you can start improving your life today. Definitely take what you feel like you can do from this list. I actually think that the list is something that you can do every day. These are things that I now do every day. And they are ones that I really put some consideration in, that if I was going to tell somebody, start here, this is where I would tell them to start. So anybody who listens to me on a regular basis, either here or on YouTube, knows what the first one is going to be. I would bet money on it. And it's going to be daily joys. So something that I talk about and highly encourage is that you spend time thinking about simple things that bring you joy. Simple things that you enjoy, that you like doing, but either that you do now and don't pay attention to, or that you have allowed to slip from your life, and you're not doing them and you're not focusing on them. So I did a list of daily joys for myself, and I encourage that you do the same. Spend some time really thinking, what are things that I enjoy? And even think back on the past. What are things that you enjoyed that maybe you're not doing anymore? And also think of ones that maybe are things that you think you would enjoy, but you're not quite so sure. When I first got started on this process, I was not going out and taking daily walks very often, but I knew that it was something that I did enjoy. I did like getting outside. I liked taking my dog with me, especially because he gets so excited every time that we get to go. It doesn't matter if we went 15 times a day. He would be just as excited on the 15th time as he was on the first time. And I get joy out of that because I just adore him. And I think he's so sweet and he's so cute when he wants to go on his walk. Some others could be sitting outside in the sunshine, watching the birds, painting your toenails, getting your nails done, getting a massage, giving yourself like a self massage at home, sitting on a heating pad, reading a book, taking a bubble bath. I really like to play pickleball, so going out to the courts and playing pickleball is definitely on my list. Getting up to the mountains, going down to the beach, taking a walk in the trees, going down to a lake and feeding the ducks, doing yoga outside, going to the park, sitting at the pool. You kind of get the idea that you can do a huge list, and mine just keeps growing. There was actually this really wonderful comment on my first YouTube video talking about adding a list of joys to your day. And somebody had said that they had picked up the guitar and played the guitar after many years of not playing because they just kind of lost track of it. They had lost that time and that focus and had said, like, this was amazing. Like, I actually picked up the guitar and played it for the first time in many years and really enjoyed myself. So if there's stuff like that for you, carve out 10 minutes a day for you to do these joys for yourself. You will really find that this starts to do a huge shift in the way that your mind feels. I definitely recommend getting a joy added to your day as soon as possible after waking up. And part of what you want to do when you're adding this joy to your day is to really focus on that moment. I actually tell myself, I am doing this to add joy to my day. I am doing this because I love myself and I want to feel good. And then I focus on how I feel doing that activity. Even honestly, I said 10 minutes, but even if you take 1 minute and you spend some time, 30 seconds even, taking a drink of your coffee, if that's something that you enjoy, and considering how it smells, how the mug feels, where you are at that specific time, what can you feel? Like, are you sitting in a comfy chair? Are you still laying in bed? And really think about what feels good. Don't be concerned about, well, I'm still in bed drinking my coffee and I should be up getting ready. That's not the focus right now. The focus right now is that I enjoy my coffee and I am doing this for me, and this feels good because I can feel the warm covers over me. I can feel the warmth of the mug that I'm holding in my hand. I can smell the coffee. I can taste the coffee, etc. And you just kind of go through this list and really become present in that moment that you're adding that joy. And in time, you'll start to kind of add more of these to your day, and you're really learning how to shift your focus into things that you enjoy instead of being so frazzled and having to run around or kind of put yourself down that you're not doing enough. The second one is getting outside and getting morning sun as early as possible. I actually wake up before the sun, so I have to kind of watch for the sunrise so that I can get out and get some morning sun. But even on a cloudy day, take a step outside without sunglasses and not through a window. You're not staring at the sun. You are literally just going outside and getting sunlight into your eyes. And it actually has multiple benefits. And I know for me, it has really helped with kind of just my overall well-being. I think doing all of these has definitely added to that, but it's helped with my overall well-being and just feeling like my day kind of internal clock goes a little bit better from like wake up to when I start to get tired. And that's one of the benefits, is getting natural light into your eyes actually start your internal clock for the day. So it gets you kind of kicked off for your body to say, yes, it's morning. And, throughout the day, you kind of go through a rhythm, the circadian rhythm, that is telling you when you're supposed to be awake and when you should start to get tired. So if you're someone especially that struggles with sleep and getting quality sleep, I would really recommend this, but I definitely recommend it to everyone. That you just need to step outside. You can even start with like 5 minutes. I like to do between 15 and 30. A great way for me to add this is that I include it with my joys. So I like drinking my coffee. I like being outside. I like listening to the birds, and I like reading a book. So I will take my book and my coffee outside and sit for a bit and get kind of that morning sun. And it's just such a really beautiful, great way to start the day. And it's also been scientifically proven to boost your serotonin in your brain. So it gives you like a mental pick-me-up to start your day. Like, in that part is actually scientifically proven. There are so many things in this world that are naturally here for us to be able to live a better life, but we have to be able to perceive those. And they have found that your perception is truly everything. So that's on a spiritual side. If you're looking at like law of attraction or law of assumption, part of those teachings is that you are opening your mind to the perception of other opportunities. That's the reason why you are learning how to refocus your attention on what you want, because it actually opens up your perception and your ability to see those opportunities. And then there's scientific studies that have shown that this is true as well, that if you are in a position where you have identified yourself as unlucky, nothing ever good ever happens to you, you actually don't even perceive the same things in the same opportunities that somebody who has self-identified as naturally lucky and everything always works out for them. And so you're able to take that information and pair it with the things that you do each day, the habits that you have, and it starts to retrain your brain of what you're paying attention to. Think about your brain as just always wanting to confirm to you that you're always right. It's like your BFF that never wants you to be wrong. So it's only going to pay attention to the things to confirm that you are correct. Yes, you are right. Nothing ever goes right for you. Yes, you are right that every morning is hectic and you're rushing out of the house and you have no time for yourself and you look down and you've got Cheerios on your shirt. Or it's, I've got everything kind of put together and I'm feel good about myself and I feel good about the life that I lead and things really work out for me and things just kind of fall into place. Either one of those can be correct for you. It just depends on what your perception is and what you're paying attention to. And that's not to say that stuff won't go wrong, even if you have that perception, right? It's not to say that you'll never have a crappy day or that you won't feel well or you'll kind of be off. We're human and that's part of living as well. And we shouldn't beat ourselves up when we have those days. That's part of this whole process too, is accepting this is who I am. Some days are just going to be like that. But the more that you focus on these things for yourself and the more that you're truly filling your own cup, then the more that you have room for when those things happen. This is something that I have found definitely in my life. The more that I focus on kind of what I consider the right things and the things that I want to put my attention into. And the more that I'm taking care of myself, not just physically, mentally, but also spiritually, then when those kind of days happen, I'm able to recover much faster. I'm able to not let that become the rest of my day. If something happens in the morning, I can quickly refocus myself, get back on track. And I just find myself feeling better and just able to, like refocus and not dwell in those kind of feelings. And choosing the feelings that you want to dwell in is really key. So the third one is improving your sleep. I want to admit that I am not somebody who struggles with sleep. I really never have. But I did go through a period of time where I was waking up probably around like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was just fretting about stuff that was going on in my life. Either it was bills or some sort of relationship, things that were going on in my workplace, which at the time was extremely toxic and was not a great place for me to be. But so I did go through a point of time where my sleep was really disrupted. And that was new for me and it was really affecting me. And because at that point in time, I didn't know how to focus my attention. I didn't know tools to emotionally regulate myself or to calm myself down. It just really got my day off to a bad start. And it was a frustrating way for me to begin the day. And so I luckily have been able to get myself out of that doing all the things that I teach here. And I have not had that issue for many years now. But if you're able to improve your sleep, overall, you're just going to feel better. As a human being, sleep is something that we definitely need. It's like a recharge for us. And the more that you're able to get into a better sleep cadence, the better you're going to feel. So one of those things is trying to keep a regular bedtime. Now, I will be the first one to admit that I struggle with a regular bedtime because of my family life. I have kids that are very active in sports. I have a husband who also is active in sports. I like to do my own, stuff and get out in the evenings and go do like fitness classes and etc. And that can affect when I'm able to go to bed. But I attempt to keep it somewhat within the same window. Sometimes we have kind of later games that are, especially like for hockey, we'll have later games, and I do have to adjust then because that's just life. And we're learning in this process how to be more flexible with ourselves and more forgiving for ourselves. But one of the things that's good is to have kind of a regular bedtime. When you identify that bedtime, another great thing to do so that you sleep better is to put your phone away an hour before bed. This has been a game changer for my sleep. Even though I always slept through the night, and I woke up and I felt energized and I really didn't have like any kind of issue going to sleep, I don't think I was sleeping as well because I feel more energized now after my sleep. So an hour before bed, go put your phone away. That is it. You're kind of done with the phone. Turn off the TV and turn off the bright lights in your house. So I've gotten some of those light bulbs that are like more of the amber type color, and I use those in the evening and I use bright lights in the morning. And it's a key, it's like a trigger to my brain that now is wake up time. Now is time that we're starting to get ready for bed. And then I set up kind of a nighttime routine for myself, and it includes washing my face, doing like a facial and neck massage for myself. I do self-love affirmations. I, do all of this kind of stuff to unwind for bed. Put on my pajamas. I've got like a magnesium mist that I like to put on, and you can set up whatever kind of nighttime routine you'd like to have. And you can start small, right? Maybe you just start with putting the phone away an hour before bed, or maybe you definitely want to add washing your face. And if you're struggling with the phone thing, then start in like 15-minute increments. Say, okay, if I'm going to go to bed at 10, then at 9:45, I'm going to go put my phone away. I'm going to put on the do not disturb, and it's going to go on the charger, and I'm done with the phone for the evening. Reading before bed is definitely much more beneficial than being on your phone up until you pass out. Or watching TV up until you pass out. So that is the third one, is to start to improve your sleep by improving the way that your night is going leading up to you getting into bed. The fourth one is adding a mindful or meditation practice to your day. So when you're doing the joys that we talked about as the first thing, you can actually add a mindfulness practice to your day by going through your senses while doing the joy that you've added. So it's really taking that pause and considering where you are now. You can look around and say, okay, what are 5 things that I can see? What are 4 things that I can feel, like physically, the carpet under my feet, the chair that's supporting my back, anything like that. 3 things that I can hear, and so on. And you can do that countdown any time of day. So if you're feeling overwhelmed at work, then maybe stop and do that right there at your desk, or get up and do a walk and consider that on your walk. You can do it while moving. Getting up and doing physical activity is a great way to kind of kickstart your brain into thinking about something else. And then you can also do like a meditation practice. If you're new to meditation, honestly, I have always recommended that you start with sitting down with either a 5 or 6 minute timer, taking a deep breath in through your nose until your lungs feel like they are filled. Then at the top of that breath, take another quick breath in This point, you might feel like you're going to explode. That's okay. Hold it for about 1 to 3 seconds and then slowly release it through your mouth. So you would do something amazing happens when you do this. You automatically calm down. So if you're feeling anxious, this is a great breathing activity to do. And it just brings your awareness back to yourself as well. So if you're doing a meditation is not about stopping thoughts. It's not about beating yourself up because you have no thoughts in your brain. It's about returning to where you want to be. It's about returning to the thoughts that you want to have and the focus that you want to have. And so if during this timer that you have when you're just getting started, you notice that your mind starts to wander, first, congratulations, you're human. Your mind's going to wander. So don't beat yourself up over that and don't get frustrated or think that you're just somebody who can't meditate, because that's not true. And instead, bring it back to focusing on your breath. If you need to, you can do another deep breathing exercise. Otherwise, just breathe normally until the timer goes off. And in time, you'll be able to extend it or not use a timer. But starting with 5 minutes and really giving yourself like, I'm doing this for me for 5 minutes. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to focus on this. Every time my mind wanders, I'm just going to gently bring it back and say, oh no, not right now. We've got 5 minutes to just focus on our breathing. Or we've got 5 minutes just to focus on the sound of the birds around us. Or 5 minutes just to focus on how the sun feels where it's touching our face. You don't have to focus on the breathing, but pick something about you that you can focus on, something you can hear, something you can feel, something you can touch, something you can see, whatever it is. But just start to keep bringing your focus back to that until the 5-minute timer goes off. And then congratulations, you have meditated. It'll be a little weird at first, at least it was for me, but the more that I did it, the more natural it became, and just the more like overall relaxed it makes me feel. And it's only 5 minutes. You can give yourself 5 minutes. And on top of that, you deserve to give yourself 5 minutes. Do this for you. The next one is to get outside daily. Even if it's like raining, if you can step outside and just be outside every day. So you may kind of notice as we go through this, I like to combine my things, right? The morning sun, getting outside, plus, doing kind of meditation, reading, which is coming up later in the list. But so if you can get outside daily, it's just so good for your overall well-being. Just the way that you feel each day, the way that you present each day. And the more that you can be outside, the better. But start slow and just say, you know what, I'm going to get my morning sun, and that's going to also be my outside time. But we get stuck in this cycle, or at least I did, where I was spending very little time outside. I felt like I had so much housework to do. I had to be to work. I had to get to the daycare. I had to do all this stuff. And so I was spending like no time outside. And what's shocking to me is that the more that I focus on this list and doing these things for myself, the more that my inside stuff is just getting done easier and faster because I naturally find different ways to manage it. So it's like, even though I'm spending more time focused on myself and getting outside and doing these things for me, the more that my house is staying organized, my laundry is being kept up. And there are certainly times in my life, especially in the middle of hockey season, that I do have to pay more attention to kind of the focus that I'm having and my productivity levels and what I can outsource, which I'll talk about at a different time. Because if I can outsource it, I definitely do, especially in hockey season. If I have any other hockey parents listening, I know that you know what I'm talking about. Hockey takes over your life. I've got 2 boys in hockey. I absolutely love it. I think it's phenomenal. And I love the people that I have met through hockey, but it definitely takes a lot out of my schedule. And so it's very important to me that I still focus on the things for me and I don't become overly frustrated and overwhelmed in the middle of a sporting season. The next one is learning how to speak nicely to yourself. This one may take you a little bit more work. It depends on where you are. But what I would start with is that once in the morning, look in the mirror and say something nice to yourself. And then once in the evening, look in the mirror and say something nice to yourself. Start really small, but just start to consider the things that are meaningful to you. So do you like your eyes? Comment on that. Are you hilariously funny? Talk about that. Do you have, great done pedicure? Talk about that. It can be anything, but start to be nice to yourself. Start to talk to yourself in a way that you would want others to speak to you and the way that you would want to speak to others. If you're starting to do this list, a great thing that you can do to speak nicely to yourself is give yourself a mental high five for showing up. Like, I'm showing up for me. I'm doing this for me. This is absolutely amazing. And I feel good about the fact that I'm doing things for myself, that I'm adding joy to my day, that I am becoming happier and more fulfilled, and that I'm giving myself the love that I deserve. One of my favorites is to also include reading into your day. There is a plethora of books on every kind of subject that you could imagine, and just start to pick one up. And even if you only read 1 page a day, it is better than 0 pages per day. And I was a very active reader as a kid. And when I started to get back into focusing on myself and finding fulfillment in my day-to-day life, I realized that these are things that I had lost. I'm like, I loved to read. I always enjoyed to read. And that was something that I wasn't doing for myself. And so I started to pick it back up, and I had to relearn focus on a book, which was really kind of shocking to me. And I think was kind of a testament to the time I was spending on my phone. But picking up a book on any kind of subject. I love to read, fiction, but I also love to read like kind of self-help spiritual books. And I have quite a mix of those on my reading list. And so find one that you enjoy. Ask a friend, what was a book that you really enjoyed? Can I borrow it? And like I said, even if you only read 1 page, that's fantastic. But really start to add reading to your day. You'll find it to be much more beneficial than you may have imagined. And I also think that even if you were not an avid reader when you were younger, or it's not something that you've really enjoyed, there's so many options out there, and it's so good for you mentally to pick up this habit. So definitely add reading to your day as well. Number 8 is to journal each day. You don't need to have some sort of prompt, but you can give yourself kind of a journaling pick-me-up. You can also use prompts. There's tons on the internet. I'll put some down in the show notes as well that I recommend as journal prompts and that I use myself just to kind of get started, especially if I'm feeling a little bit in a slump. It's another thing to start by setting a 5-minute timer and just start writing whatever is in your mind. Even if that's writing out the list of things that you want to get done or have to get done, but getting it from mind to paper, there's something therapeutic in that. And there's been plenty of studies done that have shown that this is true and that journaling is really important. I think there is power in the written word. I enjoy to do it pen and paper. I have notebooks all over the place. I'm not going to say it's a problem, but there's definitely notebooks all over the place. I like to write things out. It's a way that I get my thoughts going and out of my mind and organized. And so that's how I like to do it. If you prefer digital, there's tons of apps that you can use on your phone, or, you can just use kind of a Word document on your computer, whatever you want. I still really encourage you to do pen and paper. I think there's something special about getting that out. But of course, you have to find what works for you. And just getting those thoughts out is really the greatest place to start. Number 9 is to start moving your body. Add some sort of physical activity to your day. This can be anything. You can start with saying, every day I'm going to take a 15-minute walk and I'm going to walk around my block. You can add Pilates, yoga, boxing, kickboxing, a fitness class, swimming, pickleball, whatever you want to do, but start to add some sort of movement to your day. If you are on kind of the younger side of things, you will find this will really pay off for you as you get older. And if you're older, movement is like lotion for yourself. So definitely check with your doctor. Don't push yourself. If you're kind of in a position you need to start a little bit slower, that's totally fine. Check with your doctor. But get movement added to your day. There are free YouTube videos, walking outside, doing, a sporting activity, getting down to the pool. There are so many options, and find something that you enjoy. Stop doing workouts that you hate. I did that to myself for so long. I don't even know why when I look back on it in hindsight, but I would go to these like HIIT classes that I just hated because I felt like I had to do that to lose weight. I would imagine there's probably women out there listening who are shaking their head like, yes, yes, yes. And I know that there's people who enjoy those classes. I did not. And then I always ended up getting hurt. So I would go through, do these classes, really push myself, feel like I was going to throw up, hated every single minute of it, would like literally watch the clock for it to be over because I didn't want to do it anymore. And then I would hit a point because they were so fast moving and I needed something where I could take a little bit more time and focus on my movement that I just ended up hurting myself anyways. And then I would drop off because I couldn't go for 2 months because I had jacked up my shoulder or my knee or whatever else it was. And then it would take me another 2 months just to convince myself to get back in the habit of doing some sort of physical activity. It was an absolute ridiculous cycle that, like I said, looking back in hindsight, no idea why I did that to myself, but I did. I was there for many years on that like hamster wheel of physical activity workouts. So now I try a whole wide variety of things to figure out what it is that I enjoy, what feels good for my body. I love yoga. I love Pilates. I love playing pickleball. I love going horseback riding. I really love Zumba. I go to a Zumba class each week with my daughter and my sister-in-law and mother-in-law. So I also get like this like social connection that's there as well. I get to see these people who are meaningful to me, and do a workout that I like really enjoy. I get a kick out of it. The instructor is fantastic. So it's important to find those kind of things that you enjoy and make you look forward to getting this physical activity, and moving your body is just so important on a day-to-day basis. And the last one is to build each night a practice where for about 3 to 10 minutes, and yes, I said 3, you can start with literally 3 minutes, writing out and reviewing things about your day that you enjoyed and you appreciate. So especially ones about yourself. If there was something that you did, down to, I let somebody get over in front of me in traffic. I cooked a really amazing dinner. I did my list of things for myself. I really enjoyed this joke that I made, whatever it is, but write out just like a laundry list of things that you really enjoyed about yourself and your day and that you appreciated. And you can add stuff that other people did for you as well, but I do highly encourage that part of that list is things that you appreciate about yourself. And just do that like as soon as you put your phone away, take out whatever notebook that you have, set a timer, and just write out a list. And if you are struggling with this kind of stuff, then like I said, set a timer for 3 minutes. Tell yourself you're only going to write 3 things. Start where you need to start to build this habit. You're actually, in these things that you're doing, these 10 things that I shared today, you are actually changing the way that your mind is perceiving your day. You are starting to refocus and truly rewire your brain, and you'll start to feel naturally more gratitude and more positivity during the day. I really push against this toxic positivity type of attitude that especially runs rampant in the law of attraction type of community. You can naturally find ways to start to feel better by focusing on your daily routines, the daily habits that you have, the way that you're talking to yourself, without forcing a positive attitude, without forcing gratitude for everything that happens in your life, and without beating yourself up for the emotions that you feel or the way that you maybe currently look at life. Because there's no reason to beat yourself up. You don't actually need to claim any emotion that you feel as negative. Truly, you don't need to claim any as positive either. You can look at them as an educational way to view yourself. Anything that you feel, any trigger that sets you off during the day is a key insight into where your mind is, where your identity is sitting, the state that you're in, and the things that are maybe bubbling under the surface that need some of your attention. So start to look at things like that. Get really curious about yourself. Why is this bothering me? Why am I beating myself up over this? And really just lean into seeing it more as a learning opportunity versus this like forced, I'm not allowed to feel that way. Because of course you're allowed to feel that way and it doesn't ruin anything. Don't worry about that part. This is not going to ruin something you're focusing on. It's not going to ruin some manifestation. You can shift your mindset. You can shift your state. You can shift your identity at any point in time. Nothing that you felt 10 minutes ago cannot be reversed and updated and refocused onto something new. So let it go and don't beat yourself up. That is one of the biggest lessons that I hope you learn from anything that I teach, is to give yourself empathy, forgiveness, and kindness. Have a wonderful week, and I will be back next Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining today. If you found the episode useful, please share it with your network or leave me a rating or review. It helps me get my message to more people, and I would greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can visit my website. It's ceciliahendricks.com.